Hello everyone. Today we have Dilip with us who has cracked SEBI Grade A exam. So first of all, congratulations to you, Dilip, for this remarkable success.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, so guys, today we have Dilip with us, and Dilip is going to share his journey. Dilip is going to share his experience and learnings, whatever he has learned all throughout his SEBI Grade A preparation. And he's going to explain his detailed strategy, his timetable, also sort of things which are going to be very useful for you, and you can add them as a part of your preparation. Fine. So without wasting any time, let us begin with our success story session. So first of all, Dilip, I would like to talk about your background. I would like to know about your background. We had a short conversation before this session where Dilip told me that he has his mother and two sisters in his family. So Dilip, when the results were announced, what was the first reaction?
Yeah, everyone was very happy for me.
So
I think
what were you doing when you saw the PDF of the results?
actually I was in office at that time. So when I saw the video, I immediately called my family members and shared this good news with them, and everyone was very happy.
Okay, that's great. I can understand your happiness and enthusiasm with respect to this whole outcome that you are witnessing through after the end of this journey. And before we begin with, how did you prepare for this exam and what were the nitty-gritties regarding it? First of all, I would like to know your background regarding your educational background very precisely.
So my education background is engineering. I did my graduation in engineering from National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra, and I completed graduation in 2019. And post graduation, I got placed in Ambuja Cement. So I was working there, and at that time I was thinking about preparing for the government exam, and I find that SEBI is pretty much aligned with my interest. So the idea was, started preparing for the SEBI. I started preparation in December 2021, and I gave my first attempt in February 2022 and cleared phase one. But I was due to where I got around 54 marks in paper two of phase two, as a result of which I could not clear phase two. But again, I analyzed in detail like where things went wrong and why I got low marks. So the idea was a lot of things were familiar with me, but I was not confident in I was not able to recall them at the time of uh, exam. So I thought that I should give maximum focus to revision and understand the concept and revision. So that was the area which was lacking, which needs to be take care in the phase two. But again, the next vacancy was pretty much delayed by 2.5 years. So I got a window. I think 2.5 year was there between 2022 vacancy and
Mm-hmm.
2024. So this was period when I utilized my time, and I also a lot of people thought about switching their preparation from any from SEBI to any other regulatory body exam. But I since I was working professional, so I was not able to get so much time, and so I continued preparation for the SEBI. And because at that time it was not clear whether the say vacancy will come in next 6 months or after 1 year. So I started assuming like vacancy might or notification might appear in uh, at any time. So I kept on preparing for the SEBI and keep on revising. And so let's break it down my strategy in the phase wise. Okay, so the phase one, paper one. I think paper one is very it's not very difficult. One can easily score 30% marks. And for paper one, I would say phase one paper one, I would say keep giving mocks as much as you can, because your actual score is not going to very much. It's just going to be plus minus 10% of what you are getting in your mocks. So keep giving mocks and evaluate yourself where you stand. If your score is around 40%, then you should try to keep it 50% band, so you are on a safer side.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be strategy for the phase one, paper one. For paper two, I would suggest cover the syllabus. And once you cover the syllabus, try to reinforce this syllabus by multiple revisions, so that you get confidence and confidence, and you can because revision gives you confidence. There is no doubt about it. and keep in the touch, keep reading a particular newspaper, so that you can uh, once you cover entire syllabus, when then you read newspaper, so you keep on you encounter new terms or the terms which you already covered in the syllabus. So that is going to help you like have a practice of, when you see something, some new terms in the newspaper, try to associate with your syllabus, and try to recall like where it falls in your syllabus, and how it can be useful for you in the interview. So preparation goes hand in hand for interview as well. So this was
Yes.
my strategy for phase one. For paper one, you keep on giving mock test, and for paper two, keep on cover the syllabus and keep on
Yes,
reading.
before we move on to discussing about phase two, first of all, I would like to know about this part where you mentioned about newspapers. So I
Yes.
want you to tell aspirants that which newspaper you used to follow, and I also want you to share your strategy that how you used to read the newspapers. What was the relevant information that you used to follow, and what was the information that you used to skip? So what was the criteria? I would like to know about that.
Okay. So newspaper, I would say any newspaper which suits it's very specific for, because some individuals like a particular newspaper and some like other. But for me, I was reading the business line because it is concise, and it was my personal choice because I preferred the language of the business line, and the conciseness of news articles. A lot of people go for the Mint as well, but I find the Mint very articles of the Mint very lengthy. As a result, I was not able to read the Mint because articles are very lengthy. And as you ask about the which part I skip and which part to read, uh, those uh, particular articles or news which you can directly correlate with your syllabus, you should definitely cover it. And also the topics which were in news right now of importance, not just related to the finance, but also important topics like whatever the developments that are happening in the in the country, they you should also be aware about them as well.
Okay, so for the aspirants, let me summarize whatever Dilip has shared up till now. So, firstly, let me just repeat: he's a working aspirant. We are going to talk about his timetable, that how he used to balance his work and the study schedule. Then he told about the importance of mock tests, which are very important as far as your evaluation part is concerned. That how far you were able to understand the concepts. Then he also talked about multiple revisions. Whatever you have read, please try to revise it multiple times, otherwise it will be of no use, because we all are human beings, we have certain kind of memory, and in order to retain things in your brain you need to revise it multiple times, and this is again very important thing which Dilip has suggested. After that, he has talked about newspaper, that he used to read the business line, but it is not mandatory. Whatever newspaper suits you, if you think that that newspaper contains the content that is relevant to the exam, you find that find the language of the newspaper easy, then you can go for it. Fine, you can go for the newspaper. And again, you don't have to read the newspaper from word to word. You just have to focus on the relevancy. Whatever topic in the newspaper or whatever news in the newspaper aligns with your syllabus. If it is relevant to your syllabus, go for it, read it, else skip it. So simple as that. So this is what up till now what Dilip has shared with us. One another question I would like to ask you, Dilip, that you used to use newspaper for current affairs, but did you follow monthly magazine also? Because otherwise it becomes a bit challenging to consolidate the news. So did you follow any monthly magazine? What was your strategy regarding that?
Yes, sir. So for current affairs, I should say go for any monthly magazine of various coaching institute, and they are pretty much very comprehensive.
Hmm.
So monthly magazine are there free of cost. I think every coaching institute publish their own. So for me, since I was enrolled student in Exam, so I was following BPedia monthly, their monthly publication. So whenever you read a monthly magazine, I would say try to write over it. If you have a hard copy, and if you have soft copy, then you can write it over PDF, or if you have a tablet, you can write over it, so that when you revise this second time or third time, it will be a lot easier for you to remember points or some short notes related to that particular news.
Yes. So
And
again,
also
a
try
very
to give,
important lesson that, okay, please continue. You were saying something.
and there are mock tests, or I should say, there were tests available for that particular time period. So let's suppose we are reading about the August BPDF or August month current affairs, then try to give mock tests because they help you retain and evaluate how much information you are able to retain.
Yes. So, okay. So, again, a very important strategy that he has shared, that do not try to read these monthly magazines in a passive manner. Try to be active, try to highlight things. If you have a hard copy, try to write there in the corners whatever you have read in a summarized manner, so that eventually, whenever you go through those pages again, you are able to revise it in the most effective manner. Apart from that, he has said that we cannot underestimate the importance of mock test paper, because they are very very relevant and important. Fine. So this is about the relevancy of newspaper, the mock test, about the monthly magazine. Now let us talk about the phase 2. Let us continue with the phase 2 preparation. And how did you plan to cover different type of subjects that are there in the phase 2? Because let me remind you, aspirants, that Dilip is from the engineering background, and if we talk about the SEBI syllabus, it has a lot of different type of unusual subjects. By unusual, I mean the subjects that are unusual for an engineering student. So, for example, finance, accountancy, economics, costing. So, how did you deal with all these things, Dilip?
So yes, you are absolutely right. There are subjects which are totally new to engineering background students, but there are a few subjects which we have exposure in the college time. So one is economics. Yes, it was a part of our first year syllabus, and costing was also there in engineering. I think seventh semester in entrepreneurship and all these subject. So yes, and management was there in idea of management and organization structure was there in the first year itself related to organization behavior. It was a subject in the engineering curriculum. So these are the areas which you have prior knowledge. But yes, so the subject which are totally new to you are accounts and finance. So these are the areas which are and companies act. These are completely new areas for you. So I would say start with the easy part, which is management and these uh, uh, economics. Economics is easy and can be understood. Uh, Try to cover economics first and then go for the finance, because finance is a broad subject, and you get finance is or has overlapping areas with other subject, like it has an overlapping part with the commerce and accounts and also companies act. A lot of terms that are there in the companies act are being explained in the finance part. So once you cover economics, then go for the finance, and then companies act and commerce and accounts part.
Yes, so this is what he said, that firstly what you need to do, you should start with those areas that with which you are comfortable. So for example, management, which you can cover easily, because it will definitely help you to be confident as a part of your preparation, and then gradually you can move on to other complex subjects. So this is about the phase 2 preparation. And what was the timetable that you used to follow? This is very important for me to know, and also for the aspirants, because we want to know that since you were a working aspirant, how many hours you used to study every day, and how you used to manage your daily routine, whether you used to how many I mean whether you used to divide your schedule into morning and evening. And also tell us about that. Okay, I forgot what I was saying, but please first continue, answer the first part of the question.
So one thing I would like to add here, we have not talked about the phase two paper one. So
Okay,
paper
yes.
one is also very important, and so I said that you should also when we were covering the newspaper related topic. So when you read newspaper, I said that you should also be aware about the ongoing developments in the economic, like what are happening in the India largely. So because that is going to help you give an idea of what is happening, and because there will be topics in the for a essay. So it will help you in getting content for the essay. So newspaper, you can get idea of an essay in the newspaper part, like economics and social issues. So a lot of topics are there in the related to the social issues and current issues. So you will be, once you if you read a newspaper thoroughly and understand the issues in newspaper, then it would be very comfortable for you to write an essay in the paper one.
Hmm.
So this was related to phase two paper one. Now the coming to the question. I think your question was, I just forgot what was the question.
Yeah, it was related to timetable.
Okay, so for timetable part, it is challenging. Yes, working working 6 days a week and then preparing for any government exam, because there is a lot of competition right now. So it will be challenging. But first you have to make your mind like you have to devote your time for the preparation. So you would have to sacrifice on other part. So uh, for my particular job profile, I was able to manage get 2 to 3 hours in at my workplace, like during the lunch time and all that time. So I used to carry with me my tablet, and all the content is there in the tablet. So I was reading in my office at the at my workplace. And when I came to home, I devote 2 to 3 hours at home for the preparation. I think it is sufficient for SEBI. You don't need
Mhm.
to, but be consistent.
Okay, so this is, I would say, one of the most important lesson, one of the most important learning that you can take from Dilip, that basically he tried to utilize his time as much as he could. So he had some time in the office because his schedule was not very much tight. So what he used to do, he used to manage his time. He used to study in the office hours also, wherever he could manage, and rest of the study he used to follow in his home. So that is a strategy that he used to follow regarding the timetable. Okay, so this is regarding your time management. And what about Sundays? You must be studying on Sundays, on holidays also. You must be devoting some extra time to that.
Yes, sir. If I'm not feeling very hectic, then I would study I set a target for the Sunday. Let's suppose yesterday or today is Sunday, then I would set a target of revising 2 months. I think 3 months current affair would be very hectic. No, I think it will be very hectic to constantly reading current affairs. So I
Hmm.
would set target like I would cover 1 month current affairs and 4 to 5 chapters of a particular subject. It becomes you can expand this target based on how many revisions you have done. So as you do multiple revisions, you tend to revise things much faster. So you can also, at the end of your preparation, you can cover entire subject in one day.
Yes, through this answer, I also would like to add something. And he has also said that, and I've also seen this thing as far as my experience with the exams is concerned, that do not try to count the number of hours that you are studying. Instead, have a well defined target that this is something that I'm going to cover today. Once it is done, you should feel happy and satisfied about it. So always try to have a list that this is something that I'm going to do today. Or sometime it is possible that you are not able to cover 100%. It's okay. At least try to cover it up to 80%, then you should feel satisfied. Do not try to just count number of hours. Otherwise, what I have felt is that it brings a lot of unproductive time. So do not try to follow that strategy. Instead, have a well defined target. Try to run behind that target, and ultimately it will be a better strategy to manage your whole syllabus. Fine. I hope you agree with me.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So, what was the biggest challenge during your whole preparation? Either any kind of psychological challenge or any challenge with respect to a certain type of subject, जिसने बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान किया हो आपको. So, what was it challenge for you, and how you
uh,
were able to overcome it?
So challenges were there related to the commerce part of the syllabus, accounts and finance is okay. One can easily understand. Means you there are a lot of study material there on the website, on the YouTube. If you feel difficulty, otherwise the coaching material is sufficient for everything. But sometimes, even though there is a coaching material on the platform, but still you find difficulty in understanding concept and solving questions. So I'm just talking about the extra effort that you should also make. So ICI material is very good. You should try to, but first you have to cover your coaching material. Okay, so once you are thoroughly done with that, you can go for ICI material and try to solve their solved examples
Hmm.
on those areas which are in your syllabus. So that would be very helpful you for you to solve to have a clarity of the concepts. And second thing I would say, so we are talking about the difficult part. So commerce and account was very difficult for me because I am from engineering background. To have a conceptual clarity, I read some selective parts of the NCRT, uh, 12th and 11th NCRT parts, not completely, but yes, only those areas where I felt difficulty, like ratio analysis, which was a bit difficult for me first. So I read NCRT material to have a clarity, and also don't hesitate to go for YouTube, because there are a lot of lectures there, and they explain things a lot easier, like forfeiture, like how forfeiting happens. So if you have a difficulty in those particular concepts, you can also go for YouTube.
Fine. So please do not hesitate to use diverse type of platform. But the thing is that do not also try to use a lot of multiple type of sources. YouTube is fine. YouTube is a essential part of the preparation. I'm talking about the textbooks. That if suppose if you're following a certain type of subject, for example, finance. So do not try to use a lot of resources, because otherwise what happens, it becomes difficult to revise. But at the same time, if you are facing any kind of difficulty in understanding the advanced concepts, do not hesitate to go back to basic books. For example, as Dilip has said, the NCRTs. So these are the things that you can keep in your mind, and whatever suits you, you can add it as a part of a strategy. You can optimize your strategy based on that. So I hope it will be very helpful for everyone. Next thing is regarding the preparation phase. Sorry, the interview phase. So how did you prepare for the interview?
So for interview phase, I went through a lot of success stories of earlier candidate, and I realized that in interview they are not going to test your knowledge, like technical part, not much. Rather, they will focus on basic things. So for basic stuff, I read the one particular newspaper for getting familiarity with the ongoing developments in the SEBI and securities market and financial market. So again, I was reading newspaper a bit more from just the narrow. Earlier, I said that you should also you should only focus on that part which is in the syllabus. But right now, you can expand your area and try to make extra effort, because interview there is no fixed syllabus for the interview. So I should say, one, you should read newspaper for current affairs and understanding about the current developments. And second thing is, you should know the organization very well. So for that, you need to go to the SEBI website and try to learn about the organization, its various departments, and the board structure, how particular member of board were appointed, and where is the provision for appointment of SEBI chairman. So these kind of basic stuff uh, you should know, because that is what expected from you, like preamble of the SEBI. So these are basic things which are expected from you, and you should be very well aware. I would give all of these things 50% weightage, because rest 50% weightage is to your past work experience, and it is not, don't take it lightly, because they are going to ask you a lot of questions from your work profile. So take it seriously. I think 50 to 60% questions are going to come up with from your work profile, and I have talked to other candidate as well. So let's suppose I'm working with the steel sector, then I'm just giving you an example, like how kind of what kind of questions can be framed. So you should know about your companies. If it is listed, then their share price, past year's performance, like how much profit it made, and what is the issues with this particular sector in which you are working, and what are, just let's suppose I am in the steel sector. So what are the various raw materials, ore types, various types of ore for of iron. So these kind of things are expected from you, and try to be aware about your organization structure as well, the company in which you are working.
Okay, so let me summarize. So the things he has said, that please do not just focus on the technical part, only on the syllabus part only. Do not go with this assumption that in the exam I will go and they will ask me question from finance, costing, accounts, all such type of things, because this is not something that happens. Yes, they might ask you one or two question, but that is not going to be a major weightage of your interview. So what basically he did, he adopted a very smart strategy and a good strategy. He started reading newspapers, and he started expanding his horizon with respect to different type of current affairs and the topics that are there in the news. Apart from that, he has also suggested a very very good point, which very few I mean very few toppers have shared. The point is that you should know about the organization, which is SEBI. So go to SEBI, go through their website and understand SEBI, what it is all about, in which areas it is working, the preamble of SEBI, also sort of things. And last but not the least, you should also know about, if you are a working aspirant, you should also know about the fundamentals of your company, that what is the current value of, I mean when the company has been listed in the stock market, then what is the share price, also sort of things. So basically the point is that whatever information you have mentioned in the DAF, you should try to make your own version of questions also by connecting through forward and backward linkages, which is basically going to help you in the interview. Now I'm also going to ask you few questions that were I would also like you to share few questions that were asked in your interview. So what the type of question that they asked you?
Mostly my questions in the interview, my questions that were asked to me were related to my work profile. That is why I said that you should have thoroughly understanding about your work organization and the work profile you are working with in your current organization. So, question to me was like, since I am working in Tata Steel, so they asked me about what is the current share price of the Tata Steel, and fortunately, uh, um, I just saw it in the morning, so I quoted to two decimal digit right. So it was 184.25 at that time, and I said it correctly. Then they asked me about what are the current issues with the steel industry, and I said that China is the largest producer of steel and India is second one, but the difference is too much. Like the difference is around 10 times. So when there was a slowdown in China, and so a lot of steel was dumped into international market, which were bringing down the overall prices of the steel. That's why everyone was struggling, including the Indian steel industry. So, this type of questions they are going to ask you, and uh, like mostly questions are related to my work profile, and yes, a few questions were related to the technical part, but these are very basic questions. I think anyone can answer. Like, what is the difference between future and forward,
Hmm.
and what is
Questions
UPI?
that were asked from the syllabus only,
Yes,
right?
sir. But these are very basic questions.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
what is UPI, and what are the benefits of UPI? So I said that when UPI benefit, like no need to carry cash. So these are very basic. Like anyone
Okay,
can answer who have reached the interview stage.
fine. So anything else that you would like to add, or something that I have not asked you yet, you would
Yes,
like
sir.
to add from your side?
For phase three, I would I would like to give you a source for understanding about the SEBI. A lot of time you find it very hectic to understand the development that have happened in the securities market, and these are not given on a particular timeline. So I would suggest go for a book. There is a book in the SEBI's publication, that is Investor Ki Kahani. It is in Hindi, but yes, you can understand it. Only read 5, 6, and 7th chapter from that book, and I think it's 20 to 30 page, and one can easily read. So in those chapters there is a history of the organization, or I should say SEBI's initiatives, like uh, when is digital integrate major development that have happened in the stock market, and what is regulators perspective about those changes. It was written by internal team of the SEBI. So you would get a good understanding about the organization, and how the internal team of SEBI is thinking about any particular kind of change that are happening in the securities market. So that would be very helpful for you to have a understanding about the regulator's mindset.
Hmm. So thank you so much for sharing this information also and additional information. So aspirants, you can note it down. somewhere. Whatever sources he has shared, they are going to be very helpful for you when your interview stage comes. Now, the next question is regarding, has EduTap played any role in your journey? Please be as honest as much you can. Just be honest. If we have not played any role, you can say that also. So,
Uh, so since I said that I was enrolled in exam B, so and I also suggest that, as you said, that one should stick to one particular study material. Don't try to go after a lot of other sources. So yes, I was following the exam B material, but sometime when I face difficulty, or when I have to solve the problems, or when I feel that okay, I have solved the exam week completely, the MCQs or questions, then I would go to the YouTube, and there is online sessions by Kanika ma'am. I'm not remembering her name
Kritika
exactly.
ma'am.
Kritika ma'am.
Yes.
So it was a marathon session. Just give you questions and you have to solve them and comment, like, answer which one is right and wrong. So these are sessions, but I should say stick to any one particular material, whether you are following EduTap or Exam D, Anu Jindal, any other coaching institute. Just
Hmm.
read from there, and if you feel that you are able to you need to solve a lot of other questions, then you can go for any other, like, question bank. That is how. And I also joined EduTap's interview program. It was very helpful because there were my even small details were taken care in this interview, like how you should dress, what how you should ask for the water, and so these are small uh, details which were taken care by EduTap. So interview program was really helpful, and I gave a mock interview which was arranged by EduTap. So the panel was Setu Raman sir from RBI, and I think Raman sir was there. I'm not remembering exactly the name of the other panel member, but yes, Setu Raman sir was there in my panel. So it was very useful for me to prepare for the interview. Like, it gave me idea what kind of questions can we ask in the panel in actual interview.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Dilip. And now, last but not the least, uh, what is the most important tip that you would like to give to aspirants? The final tip, the final advice as a mentor, as somebody who has cracked this examination.
Uh, I think it is very obvious, and it's not a new thing. Try to be consistent, and uh, like, don't try to be consistent, I should say. Don't try to mug up or try to do a lot of things simultaneously. Just, I think, as I said, 4 to 5 hours is sufficient, but be continuous. That's this.
Okay, so consistency is key, and that is the message of Dilip to all the aspirants. And I hope this success story was extremely helpful to you. And if you have any other questions that we have not asked as a part of the session, you can write it in the comment box also. We would love to address those queries or those questions also. So that is it from our side. And thank you so much, Dilip, for your time, for being a part of this session. And I hope that this is going to be very helpful for all the aspirants.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Dilip.